Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Justus with tomorrowsfilmmakers.com, and today we have something really exciting that we want to share with you guys, and that is a full wedding day walkthrough. Not a 5-minute video on tips to film a wedding or how to film a first look, but the entire wedding day from start to finish. Now, we recently brought my good buddy Emmaus onto the Tomorrow's Filmmakers team, and he shoots weddings full time, and we've created our wedding cinema course and just launched it today. It's over 80 episodes and over 9 hours of content on how to shoot a wedding from beginning to end, from planning, shooting, editing, marketing, the business side, everything you need to know about weddings. It is inside the course. But today we want to give you guys a look at a typical wedding day and follow Emmaus as he films a wedding from beginning to end.
Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Emmaus Vanderbilt with Tomorrow's Filmmakers, and today we're going to be taking a look at what it takes to film a wedding. We're here at Brittany and Chase's wedding, and we're going to give you an in-depth virtual job shadow on what it's like to film a wedding. Everything from what to wear, the pre-production, what equipment we use, how we film different parts of the wedding, from getting ready to ceremony to the reception and to the final piece with the exit and dancing. So guys, thank you for coming. It's going to be a jam-packed video, so stay with us because you don't want to miss it. Let's get right into the video. So now we're in the back of my car. I know it's a huge mess right now, but we have a lot of equipment, and we're going to real quickly go over what I use to film weddings. First of all, the DJI Phantom 4 Advance is a great drone that shoots 4K 60, and all links can be found in the description for all gear that I use and recommend. Second up, we have a DJI Ronin S. I love this thing. Next up, we have another DJI Ronin S. I have two of them, one to use as a backup. For tripod's sake, I have a Manfrotto, not sure what this is, MVT 502 AM. It's about a $500 tripod. It's nice, simple, gets the job done for ceremony cams. Next up, I have another backup. I have the GlideCam HD 4000. The HD 2000 works great, but I just have the 4000 because it works on my Red and other heavy cameras. So I don't use this a lot. I mainly use the Ronin S, but this is a great backup in case it starts raining and you can't use the Ronin S outside, or if you just want more of a handheld look for your video. Next up, we have my very first tripod, the Davison Standard PowerVista GR2. It's about 100 bucks on Amazon. It's a super simple tripod. It does have a nice fluid head, but I use this as a B camera for during the ceremony. Then I have some light stands. These are really basic. These are $10, $15 stands off Amazon. I have 5 or 6 of them. These are used during the reception to put my lights on. And this right here is what I call just the bag, because I use this for everything. This holds my GH4, my 5D Mark IV, other batteries, microphones, and whatever else I may need. It just has a bunch of random accessories in here that I'll use for everything on the wedding. And finally, I have the mothership of the whole wedding, the Pelican case, which has the 1DX and all the lenses in it. But some people are thinking, okay, with all this gear, where am I supposed to keep it at? I mean, it is a wedding. You don't want it out in the open. There's not a huge storage room available. So now let's go ahead and take a look, and I'm going to show you where I like to store my equipment during the wedding. And once we get there, I'll go ahead and give you an in-depth look inside my Pelican case and some of the other equipment that I'll be using. So whenever I walk in here, my first thought is, where am I going to store something? Because there's a lot of stuff going on. They have a band setting up, table setting up. So usually what I ask is if they have a groom's room, because usually the groom don't have a lot of things to bring with them compared to the bride and the other ladies. So I heard that the groom are getting ready in another area, so the room over here may be available. So let's go and take a look and see if that, and if not, we'll try to see if there's some type of storage closet or something where we could store our equipment. Hey Emily, I was wondering, is there some type of storage room where you guys are keeping your bags?
I'll just usually keep it in the corner when I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, is there anything back there I could keep stuff in?
Go back there. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know who I would need to ask about that? Okay, because I also heard that they had the groom's room in here, but they weren't using it.
Yeah, it's right over there. You could keep it in
So that one over there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Make sure that you never step on the white trail or whatever that's called. Always carry your equipment over because your cases are dirty, and you do not want to get this dirty. That's a bad way to start off a wedding. A good rule, whenever you come to a door, never assume that it's empty. Always knock first, especially if it's ladies, but even with guys, or even if it's a storage room, I always knock just to make sure that no one's in here. Hey, I'm the videographer. Okay, great. So apparently there were guys in the groom's room over here watching football, but that's fine. I just always ask, make sure it's okay. Never just assume. You're good to put stuff wherever you want to. So I just found a good spaced up against the wall. No one comes into the groom's room during the wedding. This is usually a chill area once everyone's done getting dressed. So I like to find somewhere close to an outlet, like there's one under there, just to make sure that you can have a place to charge your batteries. So now let's go and open up the Pelican case and see what we got inside. First up in here we have the Canon 1DX Mark II. Always make sure it has your memory card in it before you go out and start shooting, because if they're about to do a first look, you push record and it'll say no memory card. So make sure you got your memory card in there. Always have your batteries charged before, and inside the course we'll be going through a whole pre-wedding checklist that you need to do to make sure that you're ready. But anyway, there's our 1DX. We have 2 other Canon batteries, so a total of 3. We have our battery charger, because even though I could get through a whole 8-hour wedding with just 2 batteries, always bring a charger just in case one of the cells were to die in the batteries and you have to recharge them. Better be safe than sorry. Inside here, I have another CFast 2 card and just some other random pieces to use. I always keep a CFast 2 reader inside here. It's hard to get to. There we go. Just in case I have to back up something to make room for something else, or I do a same-day edit. Right here's my wide lens, the Canon 16 to 35 2.8. I don't use this a whole lot, but it's really good for establishing shots, showing off the whole venue, or where the ceremony is about to happen, just to show off beautiful landscapes. Right here I have 2 of the 24-70 lenses. I use these for my ceremony cams or for really tight or stressful situations where I don't want to deal with prime lenses. They're a beast of a lens, but they only go down to 2.8, unlike primes do. And right here I have my 35mm 1.4, pretty sure lens, yeah, 1.4, an absolute beast. I can film a whole wedding on this if I need to. But those are my 4 main go-to lenses. Right here I have my Zoom H6 that Tomorrow's Filmmakers uses and recommends as well. It gives you 4 combo jacks, which means it takes XLR and 1/4 inch, and you have your different mic attachments just for various scenarios. Continuing on to audio, have 2 Tascam DR10Ls. These things are amazing. They record a lav mic straight into the device, so you don't have to worry about wireless interference. They just record straight to here. They're about $200. They're a great deal. On top of the ceremony cams, I use a Rode VideoMic Pro. I have 2 of these, but today I only brought 1. That's all we'll need it for. DJI Osmo Action, aka a GoPro. It's really neat for the reception. I only use 1 or 2 shots from it, but it just gives a really cool feature whenever you give your drunk groom a GoPro and like, hey, just use it, get some crazy shots of you, and they usually love it. I like the Osmo Action because it has the screen on the front where they can see themselves. I have a mini flathead and Phillips screwdriver, great for tightening the plates on the bottom of your cameras. And finally, I have some locks for my Pelican case. Just in case it is a sketchy or dangerous area, I can lock up my Pelican case, and then I have a bike lock attached to it so I can chain it up, lock it, and ensure that nothing is going anywhere. And finally, you always want to make sure you have batteries. I buy these in bulk from Amazon, AA and AAA, just to use for recorders and anything else that may occur. And inside what I call the bag, here is what I keep. It's actually a camera bag, but I use it to hold my lights. I'll use for the reception. I'll go over these in a minute. And my 2 ceremony cams are a Canon 5D Mark IV and a Lumix GH4. And just gonna stop and say now, I know I'm gonna get some hateful comments saying that, oh, you have a bunch of nice expensive equipment to film weddings. No wonder you make great money off of it and shoot great films. But guys, I started with this GH4 and a Tamron lens and even a kit lens before that. So use whatever you have. You don't have to have all this. This is just for the purpose of showing you how I like to film weddings and how you can grow and scale your business to having a lot of equipment and making higher quality productions. So our cameras right here are a Canon 5D Mark IV, Lumix GH4 for ceremony, 1DX Mark II, and also as another backup, I actually got this camera right before I left for Alaska because I had 2 other video team members having events that same day while I was up in Alaska, thousands of miles away. But it's a 4K Sony, I guess, Handycam, not sure the exact name for it. But it's nice. It's just if I ever have a team member wanting to use the 5D Mark IV at another location, or if one of them's out of service going to repair, it's a great 4K camera that just records 4K 30, 1080p at 60 frames a second. Great ceremony camera backup. So now that we went through all of our equipment, we're gonna actually take a look at how I set up the cameras to use. So the 1DX Mark II is my primary camera, and for this, I'll be using my 35mm. So I guess just some basic rules for setting up your camera. I'm super picky about this just because this stuff is not cheap, but I always like to switch out lenses in a safe, controlled, non-dusty environment. Like this room is a perfect example. I always take off my cover facing down just in case something from the tile ceiling was to fall into the camera sensor. Undo that lens, and I'm gonna pop it on just like that. And then we're good to go with a 35mm on the 1DX. I always leave the Ronin S plate on the bottom, so I just loosen that by hands. And we'll have a full video in the full course on how to successfully balance the 1DX and other popular cameras like the T2i and Sony's. But then I have the flathead screwdriver, just tighten that down. And that's really all I have to do for setting up the 1DX. We'll go over settings in a minute. So now we have to balance it on the Ronin S. Okay, so now we got our 1DX Mark II successfully balanced on here. So now I'm just gonna set up the 5D4 and the GH4. I'm gonna go and set them up even though it's a couple hours early. I'll just do it now because there's nothing to worry about. It's not gonna rain, not gonna overheat. So let's pop on these two lenses. And since I'm filming this wedding all by myself, minus Justus as the behind the scenes, I've shot over 50 weddings by myself, and these are just a few tips to honestly make things go easier without having an assistant. So what I like to do for my ceremony cams is actually set up my tripods at the car. It sounds silly, but it saves you a trip to go to your car and back. So I'll go ahead and set up one tripod here, go ahead and slide my plate on. Excellent. And then I'll go ahead and get my other tripod here and slide my backup camera on it. So the reason I use the Canon 5D Mark IV, the $2,000–$3,000 camera as the backup and this is the primary, even though this costs $600, this costs $2,500, is because this one stops recording after 30 minutes. This one will go on indefinitely. So as you see, I'm carrying both of these tripods, and honestly the purpose of that is to save a trip from going back to my car, because time is money. Whenever making one trip versus two, it gives me time to get other shots or to go ahead and mic up other people or things. So I like carrying two at once because the ceremony is real close. So now we're actually heading over here. They're having a beautiful outdoor ceremony on the golf course at this country club, and we're going to go over positioning, why I put cameras, why I put them. And even though we are setting them up probably 3 hours prior to the ceremony, it's just for the purpose of so I don't have to do it later, just knock it out of the way. It's a safe environment. It's like 52 degrees, so it's not going to overheat today. So let's go ahead and set them up and we'll take a look. Here we have the GH4 on the Manfrotto. I like to make this as tall as possible because people will stand up for at least some part of the ceremony. So extend all the legs out, and I'll put this in the very back. I like to put it over here at an angle because some people put it right in the aisle, but the photographer doesn't like that and it just doesn't look real pretty. So I can set this up in the back. It has a bubble level on it. I do look at that, but that doesn't make it always accurate. So it's always what your eye likes the best once you turn it on. And even though I got here about an hour or so ago, I could have set this up before, but they were still setting up the chairs, and it would have defeated the purpose because I won't know the framing for where people would be sitting, and also it's dangerous if someone was to knock it or even take it. So now that all the chairs are set up, even though we're waiting on decorations, we can still go ahead and set up. So right here, pretty good framing. It has the blue focus peaking, so I know we're good. I turn the mic on, and some people will say, well, hey, don't you want to save battery? But my thing is, a 9-volt battery costs about $4, and it lasts for 90 hours in this mic. So today I'm probably using less than 20 cents worth of this battery. For me, it's just worth it to have it on and not even worry about it, because since this isn't the Pro version, this is a couple years old. If I was to leave it off to try to save battery and forgot to turn it back on, I would have no audio recorded through here. So for me, it's worth an extra 15–20 cents just to make sure that you do get audio. So that's why I'll leave that on and just turn this camera off, and this camera is now good to go. So as you see, we have our beautiful ceremony area with all the chairs set up. They're setting up the arbor, and what I like to do, we have our A cam RSF in the back, nice tucked out of the way. And for our B camera, it can go really on either side. It's most ideal to have actually a tripod on each side and one in the back, but for this one, it's fine just to have it on one side. So I'm just gonna choose the right, and since I have a longer lens on here, what I'm gonna do is actually back up further and zoom in more. not for the purpose of it just looks better, but also for the people sitting in the chairs. They won't have to worry about knocking it over or it just being in the way of any pictures, because photographers love wide shots, and you always want to take care of other wedding vendors. People like to fight with photographers. I think view them as friends, because ultimately that means if they like you, they will refer you. So I want to take care and serve them and keep this out of the way and zoom in as close as I need to, just out of respect for them and for the couple. So right here, again, set this up as tall as possible. Go ahead and spread out your legs. And it does have a bubble level on it, but again, don't just follow the bubble level, follow what looks best to you. So take off the lens cap. Beautiful. So that's recording. As you see, it's overexposed, so I'll have 100 ISO, 2.8, and again, breaking the rule, but I'm just cranking my shutter speed up. 4,000 looks good. It does have a meter on it, which can be useful, but I don't think it's necessary to follow it all the time. So that looks good. Zoom into 70 millimeters. I'm filming in 1080p, so it's full frame, doesn't have any crop on this. And now that's zoomed in, I see it looks a little too dark, so I'll probably bring it down to 3200 shutter speed. And what I'll actually do is turn off the autofocus and switch it to manual focus, because on Canon it has what's called dual pixel autofocus. So if you were to have something come in front of it, it would shift your focus, and that would be bad if someone was to walk in front of it during the ceremony. But especially at this right here, I just usually lock it, so whether people walk in front, people try to hopefully not mess it up on purpose, but just if anything was to happen, it's locked, good to go. So now again, stop this and just turn it off and leave it. So our ceremony cameras are set up. Camera B and camera A are all set up and ready to go. I know it is early, the ceremony is at 4 and it's 1:38 right now, so it's like 2.5 hours, but again, they're set, ready to go. We can move on to something else. From this point on in the wedding day, I will always have my camera in my hand, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if there will be a pretty leaf falling for a detail shot, or if I see something important. But what I first of all like to do, once I have the camera set up, and before, because right now the bride's getting ready, but we don't want to get her getting ready before she has makeup, because you want to make her look as pretty as possible. So I have some downtime now, and usually what I'll do is come out here and just think about where I want to be. Again, there's a whole debate between whether you should be in the back and stay out of the way, or whether you should be in the front and get up on the action. And for me, I think there's a middle ground in between there. It's really not black and white, but for me, what I like to do is I'll be up in the front for everyone walking down the aisle, and then from that point on, I'll come all the way to the back, and then I'll probably stay back here for most of the time, get a few different creative shots, maybe walking back and forth, getting people laughing, smiling, different couples in the crowd, because I have my ceremony cams on the couple. So it sounds weird, but honestly, the ceremony is more of a downtime for me compared to everything else, like first look and pictures and dances, anything like that, because I'm really here in the back just getting details and them up front. But what's the most important part of the whole day is, of course, her kissing. So the second most important shot besides the couple kissing is the bride coming down the aisle. So I like to be right here at the front, and again, not dead center in the aisle where you miss the groom, because he wants to see her as well. He's the one marrying her. But I like to be off to the side, and with also being respectful to the photographer. Again, we want to be friends with them. A lot of videographers fight against them, but I want to be friends and connect with them, make sure they get their shot, because I'm not here just for Silver Fox Productions to make a good video. I'm here to serve Brittany and Chase, the couple, on their wedding day. So what I like to do is I'll usually get down here on my knees. Yes, you will get a little dirty, your knees may get wet. Suck it up, you're getting paid a couple $1,000. Get your feet dirty, get your knees dirty. I'll be right here, sort of doing a parallax effect, focusing on them coming down the aisle. Again, this is a 35 millimeter. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend a zoom lens. It's a whole lot easier to use at a wedding. Primes take a lot of practice. But again, I've been doing this for a while. I feel confident using a prime lens. But I'll get them coming down the aisle. And again, what's tricky about only having one shooter is I need to capture her coming down the aisle, and I need to capture Chase's reaction, hopefully tearing up, getting all emotional. So again, I do have the ceremony cams as a backup, but once I get her coming down the aisle, I will real quickly turn around, get his face, maybe adjust real quick with my shutter speed, turn back around to get her, and that's usually enough right there. If I have to, I can cut to the ceremony cams, but I usually don't like to, because it records in 24 frames a second and it just doesn't have a real cinematic look compared to the 4K 60 on here. But that's a real in-depth look on what I do whenever she comes down the aisle. Once she comes down, hug, everything, I'll come to the very back and just hang out in the back until it's time for the kiss. Then what I'll do is probably meet up about halfway. The photographer will be right here beside me most of the time. I'll capture them kissing, hold it still, and this is where it takes some practice. So if you're not used to this, practice in your driveway or something, but you have to walk backwards and while keeping the camera steady. Make sure that you have your legs bent so whenever you walk, it's nice and smooth. Compared to if you're just standing up, it'll put the shock back into your arms and they'll have a weird up and down look to it. So it does take a lot of practice. If you have to, go out in your driveway and just practice walking up and down your driveway. It's much more difficult with a glide cam. That's why I like a Ronin S. But if you're if able and if you can afford one, buy both so you learn how to use both of your tools. Because again, if it's raining and they still have it outside, I'll have to switch it out to a glide cam because this is not weather resistant, but the glide cam is. So make sure you know your tools. So that was just a preview on what it's gonna be like during the ceremony, where I'm gonna be at, and how I'm going to be in different positions while staying out of the way, but still getting all the emotion. So even though I'm scheduled to get here at 2, I got here at 1 o'clock. The very first thing I'm going to do is introduce myself to the bride. I send her a text so she has my number the morning of, just in case she needs anything. I text her once I arrive, and then I walk in to meet her just so she can put a name to a face. And so we can have that, again, personal is powerful, personal interaction. And then I will set up my cameras, then I will work on detail shots. So we set up our cameras, I met the bride, some of the wedding party, and set up the cameras. So now we are going to start with some detail shots. Filming at 4K 60 with the lights, having the rack focus with a dual pixel autofocus. Whatever's in the box is in focus. So right now the lights are out of focus. So I walk up, I'll grab that focus, boom, beautiful. This light's really pretty. It is a country club, so you want to show off the elegance here, showing off the beautiful design. Come up a little closer. Come on, grab that, there we go. Beautiful. This table looks real nice. You can sort of see the rims of the glasses giving a nice glow. Looks really pretty. Again, looks real country club, elegant. I'm gonna try to shoot up, see if I can get any type of a lens flare. Let's see. Now there is a DJ light in the background. I'm gonna try to avoid that by just shooting in the other way. There we go, that looks pretty. Beautiful. So even though I met Brittany before, I just want to go ahead and introduce myself one more time and introduce Justus. Again, you don't want any type of surprises. So it looks like she's getting her makeup done now. So again, I just like to wait over to the side, never be an interruption or a burden. But just whenever she has a moment, I'm just going to step over, introduce Justus, anyone else I may have with me, and just let her know that I am here. I got everything set up and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, literally.
Hey.
This ain't my first rodeo.
That's right.
And that's your Brittany. Can you hold that shot for me?
Okay.
All right. Do you mind if I switch places with you real quick? Okay.
Right here. I gotta get lips.
My favorite color. Thank you. Thank you. You look good too. No, I'll look good.
Sweet. You're good now. Yeah, you can look up. And this is Justus. He's helping out, just shooting behind.
So nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
We'll just be hiding in the backgrounds today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everything looks and feels perfect out there. So good to go.
Slowly coming together.
So now that I got a few shots over getting ready, again, whenever you're starting out, you definitely want to get more shots than you think you need. But since I'm doing it for a while, I have an idea for what I'll need. I'll probably shoot 10% more than I'll use in the final edits. But for right now, I got enough shots of her getting ready because that could look really repetitive. So now what I'm going to do is introduce myself and try to find out the band member leader and ask if I can tap into their system if they'll be doing speeches through there so I can get a clean audio feed. So I'm going to go try to figure out who that is and just introduce myself. Again, remember, personal is powerful. You want to make a personal interaction. You want to remember their name, call them by name, not just, hey, band member dude. But I know you'll be remembering a lot of names today, but at least remember your photographer. That's Emily, you and her husband Caleb, and then you have Brittany, Chase, and now I'm gonna go figure out the band member's name. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Good. What's your name?
Reggie, you are?
Reggie, I'm Emmaus.
Emmaus?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Thank you. Are you in charge of the band today?
Well, we all kind of in charge. What you need?
Charge? I was wondering, are they doing speeches through your system?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Use our PA.
Yep. Do you have an XLR out I could tap into?
When the sound guy comes back in, they're getting everything ready outside.
Okay.
When they come back in, he's on his table's right there.
Sure.
He can take care of all that stuff for you.
Okay.
His name is Paul.
Paul? Okay, great. You said bald?
He's bald.
Bald guy? Okay.
He looks menacing, but he's a nice guy.
Okay, all right, thank you, sir. And what's your name?
Reggie again.
Reggie, Emmaus.
All
Nice
right,
to meet you,
all
sir.
right, man.
All right, thank you, Reggie. They're doing sound check. I'm not gonna mess with them, because again, you never wanna be in interruption. So I'll just come back to that later. Right now, I know the photographer's already got shots of her dress, but I'm gonna ask and get it just to get some shots of it, because there's pretty much nothing else to do now since she's still getting ready. So I'm gonna go ask her. Hey, Emily, where are you gonna take pictures at?
For the roads.
Yes.
I was about to find that.
Okay.
Figure that out. I might do it out front, but I think the cars are there.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I'll let you
Okay. Do you know how long it'll be until?
when they get their makeup done.
Oh, so you think probably 10 minutes at least?
Probably about 2:30.
Do what?
Probably I'm ready.
Oh, okay. So actually a change of plans. She's gonna get a few shots of her in her robe, just with a wine glass or something. So I'll just follow her and get that shot outside. And if we have time, we'll go to the dress. It's usually not a huge deal.
Good. Look out the window and smile. Look at me and give me a soft smile. Good. And kind of like hold it and stuff. Yeah. Now, which side do you like better? This one probably. I don't know which one looks better. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Again, we're in the background. Actually, can you just hold that?
Looking out. Laughing out.
Sweet. For my style, I focus more on the actual aspects of the wedding day and not a lot of the getting ready parts. For example, I usually never film bridesmaids getting ready unless it's a sister or someone super close to her and she specifically requests it, but I usually focus a little bit on the bride getting ready, her dress, and besides that, that's about it for getting ready. Because if you think about it, in the whole span of a wedding day, that only takes up a little bit of it. The rest of the wedding day is either the ceremony, first look, ceremony, reception, exit, and getting ready is just a small part of it. So in my opinion, it's not a huge deal. I don't spend a lot of time on that unless they specifically request it. And at first I was a little nervous about trying that style, but I've actually had people tell me and send me emails saying that they love my style, how I focus more on the wedding itself and not all of the small little details. But it comes down to a personal preference. If that's something you really want to focus on, then by all means go for it. But especially whenever starting out, I would recommend filming as much as you can, everything you can, just to make sure you have enough. And once you get some more practice and some weddings under your belt, then you can be more picky about what you choose to film, because it'll save time in the editing process whenever you don't have to go through every single shot. For the groomsmen getting ready, about half the time I get him getting ready, especially as a solo shooter. Honestly, it's just not that important. Usually the groomsmen are a bunch of drunk guys who are half clothed and they usually don't care. They don't look that professional or nice for the wedding. So I mainly stay away from the grooms getting ready. I may get a few shots of them high-fiving, playing poker, watching TV or something. But I used to film a lot of them, but whenever I went to go edit, I did not find a good place to put shots of the grooms getting ready. So after I focused a little bit on the bride, maybe 1 or 2 shots of the groom adjusting his tie or buttoning his jacket. But besides that, that's about it. Hey, Chase.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, I'm Emmaus.
Chase, nice to meet you. Yeah.
Do you mind rolling up that left sleeve just a little bit for me so I can see the ice?
Had the shoes be shining.
It's not that much ice.
It looks sweet.
Oh, it matters.
Oh, look, I just need one shot. Do you mind just adjusting your bow tie for me? Just look like you know what you're doing.
Okay.
And try to use more like just a few fingers so you don't hide the whole bow tie. I still need to be able to see what it is. So you only use one hand for me, like, take away. Sweet. And do you mind unbuttoning one and buttoning it back for me?
I bet doing videos is really fun.
I love it. That's what we're shooting today. I'm making a course on it, so This is in like a virtual job shadow. Hey Paul, hey, I'm Emmaus, I'm the videographer. I was wondering, do you mind, because they're doing speeches through your system, I heard, do you mind if I just tap into the XL?
Think about that, but yeah, you can tap in whatever you need to tap
Okay, just to the XLR out from there.
fine.
And do y'all have a system out there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I already have the I have the cables and everything. Appreciate it. So now they're doing a letter reading. This happens probably about 60–70% of weddings. I choose not to mic these up. I just like to get his reaction for it. Usually because, I mean, again, it's a letter that she wrote to him. Most likely she doesn't want anyone else to hear it. Not just for the purpose of, sometimes there's usually something sexual said in there, but mainly for the purpose of it was only meant for him. So usually I just focus on his reaction. You'll sometimes see him smile or even shed a tear. So I just like to focus on that, but I'm not gonna mic him up for this.
Now, whatever y'all need.
Oh no, you're good. We'll film it as is.
Because we always fake my pictures.
Yeah. No, you're good.
That's good.
So once we finish pictures here with the girls, and then I'll switch this out to my 16mm and get some wide shots of this area. I would say just back up further with my 35. As you see, there is a wall there, so I can't do that. So now let's go ahead and get some pictures of the wedding party.
We're gonna kind of do like, all right, y'all smiling at me. 1, 2, 3. Y'all look so pretty. You look pretty, yeah. Laughing at each other. One more laughing at me. Laughing at me now, like. Thank you.
Is she wanting red dress in there as well?
That's her sister.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that.
No, you're good.
Look there, smile this way. Yeah.
I'll go really slow.
Okay, thank you. Sweet, you're good. You can go full speed now. You're good.
I'm like,
yeah.
that again. All right, y'all kind of gather around her and start like just messing with her hair. Don't step on it.
Yeah, don't step on it.
Dear God, please hear these prayers for Brittany and Chase and lay your hands on them. We pray for their hearts. May you continue to mature them and reveal yourself through this union in your ways.
Lay your hands on this marriage, God. I pray that they rely on you for guidance, as not every day will be perfect, but there's perfect in every day through you. But your love is so perfect. Guard their hearts and cover them in peace. I pray they have a deep understanding of...
So real quick, we're gonna make a quick pit stop right before they do their first look and just get this shot. Boom, let's go. To be honest, sometimes you don't have time to reset. Remember, besides the bride and groom, photo and video, you are the priority. And sometimes other people just have to reset things for you because we have to move so quick and do so many things. I love to be a servant, love to help people out, but sometimes you just gotta move. So right now this is a little complicated because it's only 30 minutes till the ceremony, so we don't want everyone to see her. So we're going actually behind the building, but we don't want to go back there because it's showing the AC units. So we're just gonna have to make the best of what we have with him right there and her here. So we'll see his face, at least that as the background, versus a bunch of AC units and golf carts. This is where you have to shoot tight and just be real creative in editing to make it look nice and pretty. Are you gonna want to push the ceremony back at all? Okay.
We go get
Yeah, I like the way you roll. You're like, hey, it just gotta happen. It just gotta happen.
Yep.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Ready? Go ahead.
Hey, ready? Dad, say turn that way until she touches you. All right, so now this is where it all comes down to. You have to know your priorities. The priority for, definitely I would love to get shots of the ladies, but also I have to get audio set up. That's an absolute must. And I hate it, I have to do audio and then I'll just see what time I have left, because we can always stage stuff with girls later if we have to. But right now you have to get audio, and that's the thing. You gotta know your priorities whenever you're in a time crunch. And to be honest, some people say, well, you could show up earlier to do it. Well, no, you couldn't, because they just finished makeup. You can't put on mics and everything before. So right now we just gotta run and mic everyone up. We have our 2 lav mics right there. And what I'll do is I'll just keep those in my pocket, because they may still do pictures and I'll just put it on after. We have our 2 DR10Ls. A rule I have for me is even if the batteries are still good from the other wedding, I throw them away anyway. A rule for me, once the batteries come out of the box, they never go back in. You can't afford to mess it up. People may say, hey, that's a waste of money, but my thing is, it's worth it. So, got that. So now we'll go ahead and switch back to my 35mm for the ceremony.
How you doing, Emmaus?
Good. I have a microphone for you for the ceremony.
I already have one on.
Yep, I have another one though.
You have a backup?
Yep.
Because I have one right here.
Yep.
This one will be for
the video.
His video for
his. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good Lord, I feel like when I'm officiating the game, getting wired up.
Do you have a pocket on the inside?
Yes.
Right there? Okay, what I'll do is just
go. What you gotta do, I don't care.
You're good. We'll also make sure I have a pocket, so I'll clip this on. And again, this one right here is not going through the system. It's just for video purposes. And I'll take care of turning it on. So, I mean, you could literally just forget it's there. I'll pick it up from you after the ceremony.
Let's stuff all the excess cord in the pocket then.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, just gonna say something for me real quick.
Say something.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, sir. Again, I'll take care of that for you after the ceremony. Appreciate it. So right now we're going to the ladies get their shots. Oh, this is real pretty.
All right, everybody smiling at Brittany. Brittany's smiling at them. Laughing. Ha ha. Instagram.
Now get a variety, get a little closer.
Okay, everybody kind of make a half circle around her.
And if I'm in your way at all, let me know.
No, you're good. All right, and everybody see your flowers in the middle. Flowers in the center.
Are you so excited to sex tonight?
Actually, do you mind if I get one in that arch?
So sorry.
Okay, so one thing with your flowers, do the same where you stick them in the middle, but let's try to time them up where it's all done together. So I'll count. Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Yep. So I'll actually count. What do you want to do? 5? Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do 5, 6, 7, 8, and on 8, and then you all put them in the middle. Oh, what do you want after? 6, 7, 8, boom. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then, so this is actually be a little complex. Okay, so I'm gonna say 5, 6, 7, 8, put it in the middle and just lean into your neighbor and give me a big laugh, okay? So we may have to do this a couple times. All right, y'all ready? Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's do that one more time. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dang, y'all are good. Okay, thank you. Their timing is really accurate. That usually takes like 6 takes. That works out really good. And another thing, this is shot, and these memory cards are like $600 something each, super reliable. Never had a card failure, but something else I do is I always switch it out and have the ceremony on its own card, just in case something was to ever happen to one of them. I would at least have it on a second card, so even though I would give them a full refund just for the integrity's sake of Emmaus Vanderbilt and Silver Fox Productions, I could at least produce a partial video on the card that was saved. So I will switch it out just as a safety measure. But I have years of owning this. That's never happened. It's the most expensive card that they sell for it. So that's something we'll do right after pictures. All right, so we're not doing groomsmen pictures for, these are now individuals. So I'll usually just get her sister or maid of honor.
Brittany, looks like you have actually boobs. Okay. Since we're lying today.
Laughing at each other. Good.
Laugh, girls.
And something funny. Or y'all can do that cute little head thing sisters do. Well, it's like this.
What? What I'm going to do is take an XLR, just a short 3-foot, to plug into his system. So now we'll go and plug that in. Hey, do you mind if I tap into the back of this? Sweet, thank you. I'll check your levels. You want the peak to be around -6. And this is probably quieter than it will be because it's real quiet now. That looks better. And then want the left and right. You want that to come down less. Again, even though it's an extreme backup, you still want everything to be as accurate as possible. Make sure you push record or else all your work is now wasted. I hit the hold button just in case someone tries to help us out and stop it to save battery. Whenever it's on hold, it won't let you stop it. So now I'll just set this up on top of here and we'll be good to go. As you can see, it's real dark, but now we're making it brighter. Our lighting changed. Need to readjust our focus because our camera moved. And that should be good right there. So now if you put your hand in front of it, the focus won't change at all and you're good to go. So we'll leave that. Check, make sure we have full battery. We're good, full memory card. Now let's go again check our other camera. But again, you wanna make sure that you never leave any equipment unattended. First of all, for the purpose of not wanting to miss something. And second of all, for theft, because this stuff is worth a lot of money. This is probably $8,000 to $10,000 on here. And even worse than that, your memory card will be lost, which means you lost your camera and you have to give a full refund. So you wanna make sure you always keep this with you. It's very dangerous to leave unbacked up footage laying around. I'm gonna turn this on. I'm glad we checked. It's very underexposed, so we're gonna wanna bring it up. And that looks good to me. Want to check our white balance real quick as well, and I'll see that's good to go. But since that one does have your 30-minute recording limit, we will start that one literally moments before it starts because it is a backup, not super important. But this right here, just leave it going, and just periodically I'll walk by, just make sure it's still counting up, and we'll be good to go. Just one more thing to remember: make sure your mic is on. If you followed my tip and you leave it on from the beginning, you don't have to worry about it. But if you try to save battery like some people do, nothing personal about that. But again, for me, I find it worth it just to leave it on and don't even worry about it. So that's left on, plugged in, you have full audio. Make sure your mic is on if you plug something into it. Also, another thing, you want to make sure that you don't sit in this first row of seats because those are reserved for the grandparents. Just something that you learn over time, but just sit on the ground. So real quick, we're going over camera settings. We're right here at 4K at 60 frames a second. Our shutter's at 800 and our aperture is at 1.4 and our ISO is at 100. We're at 5600 Kelvin color temperature because it's natural daylight. Sometimes things happen whenever you don't understand why and you didn't know what was going on, and that's one of them. And now the girls are coming.
Please rise.
It says that marriage is a blessing. The door crossed where his body.
That's why you always gotta be paying attention.
Was truly shed for our sin.
So now we need to restart the timer on this camera because it's only 30 minutes.
And broke it and gave it to his disciples in of your bride. Mr. and Mrs. Chasen Ray Arrington.
So now this is one of the most important parts of the day right here. Not just the fact that we're taking pictures, but now it's backup time. So what we're gonna do, I'll always switch out my cards. So at least, I hate to say it, if something was to ever happen to this, I could at least have something to give them. So I'll go ahead and pull out my MacBook Pro, use SanDisk drives. I'm a little messier than I would hope to be right now, but it's fine. Luckily for you, if you're using something that's not the 1DX, most likely you'll be using SD cards. I think most laptops can use SD cards directly straight into them, but unfortunately the 1DX does not use SD cards. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and back up this footage. So real quick, I'm just going to go stop the recording on these cameras, but I'll actually leave them out until later, just so it doesn't rack up a bunch of footage. They could keep on going, but I'll just go ahead and stop them and shut them off because we do want to save battery. So with couples, I have a few poses I like to instruct them with, but I'll just let them go ahead and start. I'll just go off of what the photographers want to use. No, you're good. And in case I don't want to forget this, put it with something else, so at least they'll remind you if you start to forget it.
Ooh, look up at him.
Oh, and he's representing G-Dub.
Y'all kiss for me. Good. Okay. All right, y'all smiling at each other.
Like a rebel on 3.
Stay like that. Kiss for me.
Close your eyes.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Go, it's your turn.
Tell me where you want me to hold it.
Yep. I'm just gonna do the same thing. First, go ahead and the whole teamwork on holding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hold those for me.
Look at her. She's
Angel, come here.
I'll need those in.
I
didn't even sign up for all this, but this is crazy, bro. This is like
Okay.
these duties I got over here.
You tell us what you
Yep.
want.
Red Rover, Red Rover.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, just go ahead. Yep. Boom, there you go. Yep.
I'm stealing your shots.
I know. Just go.
This really is like the big.
I don't have to stage nothing, man. Look at y'all.
I know.
Wait,
We've
now.
done this a time before. We didn't really. Oh, now.
So sometimes you just gotta be creative getting there. Bend over, you gotta do whatever you gotta do.
Chase, nuzzling. Brittany, bring that chin. Yes, girl. I know it.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Let me grab a full body.
Like you're smelling his breath. I know that was a very, very weird way to say it, but it worked.
Of course.
All right, Caleb, can you hold your flowers? Okay, now I want y'all to actually hold hands and both face me. Nope, so actually hold hands, face me. Yep, and I want y'all to actually take a, Chase can take one step out a little bit, and actually are gonna look in the opposite direction of each other.
Smile or no smile?
No smile, real serious.
1 second.
Son.
All right, Brittany, just gonna look a little bit.
It's gonna be gone, yeah.
All right, so go ahead and look in opposite directions, but at an angle, not straight that way, so I can both see your face, but look like you're looking. There you go. And 1, 2, 3, again, look at the other person, walk up, and just give each other a kiss.
That's what I'm saying. We're out here hyping my man
Sweet. Just make sure we're still good. Oh yeah, no chance of rain. We should be good to go. Just making sure. We need to remember our tripods are out there, so we'll need to get those at some point. I'll wait for some downtime. Probably they'll still have some time during cocktail hour, so instead of getting videos of guests interacting, I'll probably go ahead and pack all that up.
They're about to do a walking in.
Okay.
Ready? And I want y'all to walk out.
Noise!
Walk out that way.
Okay.
And go.
Look at her. Look at me again.
Direct to me.
I can grab now, right?
Yeah. Oh. Hold on. Can you keep holding her?
Yeah.
Brittany's still looking over.
You played football.
And kiss her lightly.
frightening.
Yeah, a lot of the people,
Keep that.
the two that were just out here played.
So it definitely helped out having a very talented photographer. I didn't really have to stage a whole lot. I just sort of played off of what she wanted to do. So now, because of our time that was a little messed up beforehand, things were rushed, now we're gonna do a full wedding party shot. So we're trying to get everyone, all 2 million people, no, I'm just joking, it's more like 20 people that we're trying to gather. We're gonna do a full wedding party shot right before the sun goes down, and we're gonna knock this out.
2, 3. Good, Brittany. and Chase kiss in the middle, and everybody hype them up.
Always trying to think in your mind, what do you need and what can you sacrifice whenever things are running behind. For me, I think it's worth getting at least one of these shots, but they have a lot more they'll do, which I think it's not worth it, at least for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pack up and move the other cameras so they're set up for the entrance. Need to go ahead and set up lights. So I'll probably get one more shot here, and then we'll go ahead and head over and do those next couple tasks. But in the final video, you'll only use one, maybe two, maybe even three shots from the full wedding party. So it seems like you're missing out on a lot at first, but you'll have more than enough, especially for a 5-6 minute edit. This is plenty.
Brittany and Chase kissing, and y'all going, woo! Okay, so we're gonna do
Okay, we're good. So now we'll need to go on and pack up our other cameras. And I say pack up, but we're gonna be moving them to indoors where we'll have the reception. So we need to get ready for, they're gonna be introing, and then they'll do their couples first dance. And this is actually a little different. They usually do couples first dance, father-daughter, and then mother-son, but they're actually doing couples, dinner, and then they're having the father-daughter and mother-son dance. So now we need to go ahead and hook up our Zoom H6 to the DJ setup. Just go ahead and ask one more time. Okay. Are you fine if I tap into the back of the speaker of my recorder? Okay, great. Just gonna tap into the back XLR. Again, we have a video talking about how to tap into different systems, check our levels. And remember, right now it's gonna be a lot quieter than it actually will.
When the band kicks in, because it's going to be...
Oh yeah, I'm gonna totally check. Thank you. So I'll just gonna start it, hold it, and this was our ceremony A camera, but now we need to go ahead and set it up for dances and speeches. So I'm gonna assume that the dances will take place right in here. So what I want to do, just sort of tuck it out of the way. And it's fine if anyone walks in front of this camera, or even if I walk in front. This is more of a security, again, just in case anything was to happen to anything else. I could at least give them this, and I could also sell it as an upsell after the wedding. So lighting is super important during a reception because the lighting is usually pretty rough. At least in here they have some nice mood lighting, but to be able to see faces and just define, I guess what I call body structures of people, it definitely helps to have your own lighting that you can bring. So what I use are, this is cheap brand, honestly I got them years ago, about to upgrade soon. This is the Youngyo YN300. Again, all links are in the description. These are about 50, 60 bucks a piece, but they make a huge difference. I know a 3-point lighting setup is really popular, but for weddings I like to use a 2-piece lighting setup. So I go back to the bag, I'll get my 2 batteries out. Do you know where the wedding party will be introed from? Do you know what door? Yeah.
First?
Yeah. Through this door? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So that's why I'm glad I asked. I thought they would be through that door. So what we'll do is set up one light behind them. And even though it would look a lot better if it was dead center, of course you can't do that because people are walking through it. It's not worth it to make it weird to walk around and risk your equipment. So I'll just put that off to the side. Have your light barn doors open, put it as high as it can go, tilt it down. And then we'll take this light over here, do the exact same thing, but put it at a diagonal. So if you're looking at it, it's literally a diagonal line to outline your people. So we'll come back here. We'll go ahead and raise up our lights. These are chained together, so whenever you turn it on, the other is. So whenever you have your person, they'll be walking through the door. They should be evenly lit on all sides. So they'll be coming through your door. Say, hey guys, what's up everyone? And you see it outlines the shape of their body around and still illuminates so you can see the face, and it separates them from your background. And that's what's great about weddings. You can also make friends with people. That girl over there in the pink walking into the bar, she's the one who referred me. I filmed her wedding last year. And again, going above and beyond. I did her wedding really cheap just to still step up my game in this industry because someone else referred me, but whenever I did her wedding, I knocked it out of the park. I made it look like a $3,000, $4,000 wedding whenever it was maybe a fraction of that price. And she referred me to 5 other people, and this is one of them. So thank you, Callie, for doing that. And that's where it's showing that referrals are such a big deal. That's why you gotta take care of people, not just because, yes, I mean, Jesus did take care of people, Jesus loved people, and we need to love people like Jesus did. But also for the business side, word of mouth is so huge. We'll just get a wide variety of angles from shooting through people and walking around, try to capture emotion. Again, there's a whole debate on whether how close you should get. I think there's a good difference. You just have to sort of feel out the couple. Boom, that's money. Try to shoot with the light really behind them. It gives a real dreamy look whenever you get a nice lens flare. Get your shot and then get out. Go. Try to get people in the background, show off people caring, people taking videos, even though you usually don't like to see people taking videos. During this, it's just a neat effect because it shows that people care, makes them feel like a superstar. There we go. And this right here is sort of fun because you get to capture people who, to be honest, there's a chance of them maybe not being here in the future, especially if they're old. So it just gives you an opportunity to capture different faces, capture different emotion. Like this is great right here. Try not to solo people out a whole lot. Just get 1 or 2 shots and then get out. Because a lot of people feel awkward. Focus on your bride and groom, but shoot through a lot of people. Makes it look like a really full room. Beautiful. So now we just finished some of the first dances and all that good stuff. So now they're going to eat. And just like I said before, no one wants video or pictures of them eating. They will either ask you to stop or they'll feel really awkward. And people just hate having pictures and video of them eating. Plus, that's a time whenever we're supposed to eat. Isn't that right, Emily?
Yeah.
It's time for us to grub. We've been on our feet since.
We can't work all day and not eat.
Preach that. She said we can't work all day. We cannot work all day and not eat. So now it's our time to eat. What's also important is, honestly, if you're a naturally really nice servant-minded person like me, you'll want everyone else to go first. But this is not the case, guys. You cannot go last. And not just for the point of I'm really hungry, but if you wait until everyone finishes eating, and then we have a job to do, so we need to eat first, so then we can do our job once everyone is eating, set up to keep on capturing stuff the rest of the evening. So never jump in front of the bride and groom, but if you need to jump in front of the wedding party or any other guest, remember, besides the photographer, you are one of the most important people on this day. So now we're doing the cake cutting. Always bring over a light whenever you can. It really helps. Even though you do have bad shadows, it's still worth it. So I like to get one close up. You're good. Wonderful. And honestly, that's about it right there. Super simple. And for your father-daughter dance, you want to do pretty much the same thing. Same thing as before with the couples. Just focus on emotion, try to get faces, try to lock in on their eyes, get that glisten in their eyes. They aren't huge parts of the wedding day, but they're still important for them to look back on. So you definitely want to make sure that you capture them, but we'll be using the same techniques that we did before. So as you can hear, they're partying hard out there. People are starting to drink, get crazy, take off jackets. I mean, just they're out there having a party. And my thing is, I can capture a lot with the Canon camera, but not as much as they can with the GoPro. So this right here, technically not a GoPro, it's an Osmo Action. What I love is it has a screen on the very front, so I can hand it to the bride, say, hey, go ahead and get yourself in it, get a bunch of friends, and they get incredible footage. Not incredible quality footage, but at this point, they don't care about the quality as much as they do about the actual footage itself. She would rather have amazing footage of her and her friends jamming out than it be maybe 20% better and shot on a more professional camera. So whenever possible, try to be creative and just use ideas like this. I got this idea from one of the groomsmen. It was actually her brother and the wedding he was at earlier this year, and said, hey, why not pass out a GoPro to some of the groomsmen or wedding party? I said, that's genius, and I've done it ever since. So now I'm gonna go and hand this to Brittany, and we're just gonna see what we capture.
Hey!
What's up? Get more behind you. Have some fun.
Is it on?
It's already on. Try to hold it that way so you're in it. I'll be on the light. All right guys, so this is the end of the video for the virtual job shadow. As you can hear, they're still partying inside there because they are straight up crazy. But no, for real, they're such a fun crowd. I gave them a GoPro or the Osmo Action to take around, and honestly, usually I only want them to have it for a minute. They took it for 10 minutes and were like, do you want it back? Yeet. You want it back? Yeet. Like, they would not let go of this thing because they were having so much fun.
So I hope that you guys have really enjoyed that and you've learned a lot, and you can now see how a wedding goes from beginning to end. If you'd like to check out our full wedding cinema course, you can click the link in the description. It's over 80 episodes and 9 hours of content, again, on how to film a wedding from beginning to end with everything you need to know. Now, this course does come with our full Tomorrow's Filmmakers Academy, so if you are a student of Tomorrow's Filmmakers, this course will be included. But if you'd like to check that out, you can click the link in the description to see our full academy with over 600 video lessons, over 80 hours of content on everything you can possibly imagine about filmmaking. And we also have a free 1-hour filmmaking training where you can click the link in the description to learn my practical steps on how to get into filmmaking, my 5 steps to improve your filmmaking, and also my steps on how to grow and run a successful film business. It is a jam-packed 1-hour webinar that you guys do not want to miss. So click the links in the description and I will see you guys there.
Love is a miraculous gift, and a wedding is a celebration of that magic. That is why we're here today. We're gathered here to be overjoyed with Brittany and Chase, who are wonderfully suited to one another. That is a pure delight for the rest of us to see how happy two people can be. They are an example of love that is in its lightheartedness, dissolved in the notion of love as hard work. They are the promise of possibility, the expectation of joyful surprise. We are here to celebrate, witness, honor, dance, laugh, sing, and eat, and be glad because these two have found each other. God of love who gives us the longing for and the capability of loving, we give you thanks for Brittany and Chase, for their open hearts and willing spirits, and for an example of love that they embody here in our presence. Be with them on this joyous occasion. of showing their love and making their vows, and be with us as their witnesses, that we may be all changed by what is said and witnessed here today.
You may now have a kiss, the first kiss of your bride. Mr. and Mrs. Chasen Ray Arrington.
Your blue eyes make me wanna make this evening last.